Hello everyone, welcome to a Serrata hack. Yes, I said hack, and that's because we thought it would be fun to bring you some short clips of some useful tips. Sometimes we're going to add a little humor, and sometimes they're going to be more philosophical hacks, and sometimes they're just going to be straight up useful. So I've noticed on my student page that when I sold my course number 1, the first 50 people got a goodie bag. And in that goodie bag, there was a brush. And that brush was called the Magic Brush. And it has truly been a hit. So I wanted to talk about a few things that you can actually use your magic brush for that goes beyond just simply brushing the horses. Now, before I get started, I wanted to show you 2 brushes. Those of you who received your brush with the welcome pack, you received this brush. And this is not necessarily the original magic brush. This is the original magic brush, and it's a little bit hard to come by. It's not much different than the brush that you received. So let's just look at the 2 brushes. When you have the magic brush, the true magic brush, it's going to say the original magic brush. Really, the only difference that I have found is that the actual bristles of the magic brush are a little bit shorter, and they seem to have more bristles in a general surface area. And it works fantastic. It's a brush that comes out of Germany, of course. And if you do a little digging, you can buy these, I think, 3 in a pack. The brush that you received in the mail is almost exactly like the magic brush, except for the bristles are a little bit taller and maybe not as tightly packed. This one is a simple old Tough One brush that you can pick up at your local Tractor Supply. And they're very, very affordable. So if you don't have one, you can certainly go online and look for the magic brush, or you can just pop into Tractor Supply and get a good old Tough One brush for a couple bucks. So let's talk about what we can use these brushes for beyond grooming our horses. By the way, I haven't yet found a horse that hasn't enjoyed the magic brush. It's so useful, and for whatever reason, the horses just really love it. It's a great brush to pull up all the grime and yuckiness, especially if you have horses that get to live in a sand lot or get to roll in a sand arena. It's wonderful for getting all of the grime and the sand and the dirt up off your horse. Now, what I really love using these brushes for is to clean my saddle pads. Here at Serrata Ranch, we ride English and we ride Western. It all depends on what saddle is fitting that horse best. I like to use natural fibers in my Western saddle pads. So this is a Mattis pad and it has a sheepskin on it. So when I get to riding in the summer and the horses get a little bit sweaty, I use my magic brush to also dig up all the grime that gets stuck on all of my natural fleeced saddle pads. So you can see I can really work that grime out of this saddle pad, and when I'm done and I've really worked on it, it looks like it's brand new, like I just took it out of the package. And I just keep moving and looking for areas that need to get clean. Now, this in general, the cleaning of your saddle pads. This is a part of good horse husbandry. It is a very, very good practice to brush your blankets off when you're done. Sometimes if the horses are sweaty, it's okay to let those saddle pads dry. You always want to check your saddle pads. Heck, you know, you may have dropped it on the ground and didn't think twice about it and you threw it up on your horse and there were some burrs in the saddle pad. Or if you've got patches of grime that have built up in one area and not in another area, it can chafe the horses. So it's always a good practice anyway to look at your saddle pads. Okay, so get in the habit of cleaning them off. Okay, great, great brush for just that purpose. Now something else that I really like to use for my magic brush is when I use anything that has Velcro on it. So right here I've got a pretty dirty fly mask, and you know when you've got Velcro around horses, it can get full of hair or it can get full of sawdust or dirt or whatever, and then the Velcro doesn't work all that great. Well, the same thing with your fly masks. If you look at this fly mask, it's got a lot of hair on it, and after a while that can start to irritate the horses if it's been on them for quite a while. So what do? I grab my magic brush and I go to town. And I can get a lot, if not most, of that hair up off of my fly masks. Now this is the fly mask on the inside, and I can just get all of that hair right off my fly mask. Now you can see I didn't work on it very long, but you see I got all the hair off of it there, and this is what it looks like on the other side. So it does a pretty fine job of pulling up all that extra hair. Now let's look at the Velcro. So if I got this part of the Velcro, now this one's not too dirty, but what I can do is just use my magic brush and pull all that hair and grime up off my Velcro. And this has been a lifesaver because I'm sure many of you have had something with Velcro for the horses and it doesn't stick anymore, so then you break out the duct tape and you try to get as much use out of it as you can. But if you just brush it off with these magic brushes, you're going to get a lot longer lifespan out of any products that you might have with your Velcro. Whether it's this side of the Velcro, or if we look at the other end, this side of the Velcro can also get pretty crummy. So sometimes the magic brush doesn't always get all of that up. Oh, did a pretty good job there. I can clean that as well. And that way I get a lot more life out of my products that I have here at home, because when you got a lot of horses, the last thing you want to do is always replace the things that you have. Okay? So magic brush, great for cleaning your fly masks, great for cleaning Velcro. Now let's look at an English saddle pad. The English saddle pad is also obviously something that you would like to keep clean. Now, I was talking about the importance of cleaning your saddle pads, but another thing that I want to bring your attention to is on an English saddle pad in particular. What I like to look at every time I get off my horse is I like to look at the sweat pattern on my saddle blankets. If my saddle blanket doesn't have the same sweat pattern from side to side, I know that there is a discrepancy in how my horse is using his or her sides of the body, that the right side might not be working as similar as the left side. So I'm always looking at the patterns of my English saddle pads. Does this side look the same as this side? And if it does not, then I have to ask myself, why might that be? Is it the asymmetry in my horse? Is it the way my horse is moving? Is it the way that I'm sitting? Or maybe I need to get my saddle adjusted. And every case is an individual case, but just be curious if you notice that. So again, once my saddle pad is dried a little bit and I want to clean it off, I just take my magic brush and I go to town. And the cool thing about using the magic brush to clean your saddle pads, like your English saddle pads as well, is if you get into the habit of doing this, you don't have to make as many trips to the laundromat or muck up your own washing machine by washing your saddle pads. And I always brush all my saddle pads off before I do throw them in my washing machine, because you know, we'll wash our horse stuff before we'll wash our own clothes. So nothing more gross than throwing your nice clothes in a washing machine full of horse hair. So, great little tool to keep that clean. Now, there's one last thing that I want to talk about with this brush. Yes, we can use it for brushing the horses. Yes, we can use it for cleaning Velcro, cleaning blankets. If you've got some suede on your own riding pants, you can brush horsehair off of there, or on your chaps or your half chaps. But I also always keep several of these in my washing rack or my wash rack. Because if you turn your magic brush around, you're going to notice there's a lip all the way around. Well, that is perfect for using as a sweat scraper. You can scrape the sweat off of a horse, or after you've given them a bath, you can scrape the water off of them. So you can suds up your horse on one side, get all the grime out, rinse your horse off, turn it around, and use it as a sweat scraper. So I hope this gives you some useful tips for the magic brush. So go out and play with it, get creative. And if you have any other cool suggestions or anything, throw it up on my student page and share with our community. So thank you for joining me on this Serrata Ranch hack.